once again, remember, this is where you get the meditation, taking it to another level. And of course, this evening will be no different. Once again, remember, this is the Tiger's Nest. The Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. And remember, this program comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the hour of 7 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, talking about right here in the nation of Antigua and Barbuda, right here on Radio Anu, the international flavor and the universal spice. Yeah, we definitely have a nice program set this evening. A few things that I want to speak of. Definitely the main event of the program, we are going to be talking about the new variant, that new variant strain of COVID, and what's the real relationship with that and South Africa. But we're going to speak about that when we get there. And I also want to touch upon in our introduction, I'm going to touch upon that right now. We're going to speak about the aspect of Empress Menen being crowned by Emperor Haile Selassie I. It's not going to take too long. You know, there are those who wanted a clarity on that. And I thought that it was necessary that we, you know, bring it to the forefront with an understanding, because, you know, one would tell you that Haile Selassie would have placed the crown on Empress Menen's head. And really, that may not be the exact, exact thing that happened as such. But we understand where an individual may be coming from, but we want to balance it out. Let's just put it that way. We don't want anyone to leave the conversation, you know, misunderstanding really what history says, you know, took place. So we're going to get to that right now, even before we go into the main topic. But I'm sure most ones would have heard the news by now of the passing or the transition of one elder, King Franki Francis. And this would have taken place sometime in the evening yesterday. And for those who may not know who the elder is, the esteemed elder, he definitely stands out as a patriarch, really, in the faith, internationally, especially at this moment and for a while. And even a person like me, as most of you who follow up close to me, just 2 days ago, before this happened, we were talking about celebrating our 25th anniversary of stepping into this faith, you know, of Rastafari, of accepting the divinity of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And, you know, of course, on a historical note, when those of us of my age then, those of us who were coming in at that time, the people, when I say the people, your parents, your fathers and mothers, the old people, as they would say, oh, you're going to join Franki them now. That would be the word. I mean, at that time, you know, we never even knew King Franki. I don't think I personally got that specific word. You know, I don't think that's in my record. But it was something that they would fly around, or fling around, I should say. So many ones who were listening this in Antigua, who would have come into Rastafari during the same time maybe I come in. And even if you had a parent that was lenient and wasn't too harsh on you for taking up Rastafari, they would still even say it maybe in a humorous way. Oh, okay. So you join Franki, ban them now, eh? Okay. Hope you know what you're doing, you know, in a way like that. And as I said, ones would know of King Franki because as an intellect, you see, it's not as if King Franki was the first Rastafari around here, but definitely he stands out in, you know, the first crop of those who went away, because there's a big story of the history of Rastafari here in Antigua, of those himself and the likes of Bruce Haile Goodwin and other ones. I think Brother Dester John, these ones who would have traveled overseas and gone to the university in Jamaica, and they would have studied and they would have taken up to the concept of Rastafari. I think if I'm not mistaken, Brother Bruce Goodwin would have stood with the brother there from Guyana. What's the brother there from Guyana? Guyana there, man. It's just kind of the brother from Guyana there. The revolutionary. I don't know how he's evading me now. Walter Rodney. Yes, give thanks, Princess. Walter Rodney, give thanks. What's his name there? Bruce Goodwin, if I'm not mistaken. And Bruce Haile Goodwin, for those who do not know, that's one of another esteemed elder here in Antigua. In fact, many actually credit him for being the first amongst the elders here in Antigua to have hailed Haile Selassie first. I didn't say that's exactly the case, but that history is still fuzzy. Some say so, some say, you know, not. You have elders amongst us still, King Sagaifu, etc., Elder Kenya, and many other ones. But Elder King Franki definitely brought a certain level of intellect to this game. So even those of us who, when we came into Rastafari, King Franki was an individual. He was always on the radio. But it wasn't Rastafari he was preaching on the radio. He was a football announcer, a sports announcer in general. And again, very, 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 very knowledgeable of the sport and the history of the sport. Football, cricket. I mean, he has a master understanding of the game of cricket and the history of the game of cricket. Very intelligent when it comes to geopolitics and Caribbean politics, for sure. So he's definitely an intellect all around. And then when it comes to theological studies and for sure, always leaning towards a very, you know, guru-like sage type of expression of, you know, the truth. Never found him to be what you would consider, you know, harsh against anyone because of the different outlooks, you know, but definitely Naya Bingi. And he recently went to Ghana. I know he was awarded a specific award in Ghana. I cannot give you that off the head. I think he was still the ambassador to Ethiopia here in Antigua at the time of his passing as well. And the first time I personally would have encountered him really on a personal level. I mean, again, you know who King Franki is, you know, even as a youth, you would see them brethren by the idol shop on Market Street. You know, I clearly have visions in my mind of the elder at the time. Maybe he was even younger than I am now, but still at that time to us, them was elders. Just like how ones look at us now as elders. You know what I mean? And we don't even reach, you know, I mean, elder age yet, but well, but give thanks. And it was the same thing because we were looking at them and some of them were in their late 30s and maybe early 40s. And to us, them was the elders. Not knowing that some of them brothers still have to go home and say, yes, mommy, okay, mommy, yeah, real thing, no disrespect to nobody. That's how it is. Even now, big man that is 40 and 45 still saying yes, mommy, and no, mommy. And I'm not saying not to say yes, mommy, and no, mommy, but the point I'm making is that, you know, in many cases, is you're not the patriarch of the family or the matriarch or the oldest around, but yet still the younger ones are seeing you as elders. So we always saw them as elders because they were the elders, you know. They were the ones that went away, got the teachings or got inspired, you know, or even when Ras Bono G's Bongo Watu came around here about 2 times. You know, he was the one that brought that Nyabingi order that most one here have adapted to. Because even before him, it wasn't as clean cut as Nyabingi. It was just a kind of just say this and just say that. But when Bongo Watu and I think it's Bongo Time and these ones came around here, they added a different flavor to it. And you see up to today, Nyabingi, as you know it, is very strong in Antigua as an order. So of course, give thanks again. You know, there's many things that we can say. As I said, the first time I really encountered King Franki was at the very same ZDK. He was working at ZDK the very same time I started to do my program on ZDK. And I didn't interact with him at first. It took several months because just time in, you know. I mean, I didn't live at ZDK. I went there once a week to do my program and maybe passing to do other things. But I would maybe pass him and bless him. And I was just coming into that faith at the same time to a young lad. And, you know, after getting into my program and one started to know and you know, recognize who I was, I could remember sitting with him, pardon me, you know, the first few times. And it was just intellect. That's all I could remember, just intellect and history. And I always, you know, have that strong admiration for him, for that level of intellect that, you know, I cited when I met him personally as it relates to Rastafari, you know, and as I can see, I consider, you know, intellect in Rastafari a very important thing. So we must give thanks. Of course, many more things can be said. And I know many things will be said in the days to come, because we are speaking of a figure that the international community will mourn. It's not a figure that will pass and only the village, no disrespect to anyone, or the island here, this island will mourn, not the Rasta community, the sports community, every sport icon, every sport, I telling you. You see, you could say what you wanted, because there has passed an elder where people also have what they have to say. That's the truth. But that's how you go. But I'm telling you, kings are going to come out and honor him. And I'm asking you, record breakers are going to come out and honor King Franki. You better believe it. People going to leave near and far. They say they pass a law here that you have to be vaccinated to come here. I'm sure that they have people that stern that they're not taking no vaccine and they would take that vaccine to come here for King Franki funeral. Better believe that. So this is the time that we have to give thanks to the King, Franki, and what he has done. The chapter has been written, and in the physical realm, the book has been closed. Give thanks in all respect that even before he made that move, it is obvious that a next generation had already taken the baton to drop a ground for nobody pick up. Let me speak a bit nicer so everybody can understand. There are people hardly can understand English, much less. The baton, like a relay race, is not as if, you know, the person kept it in his hand too long and it dropped to the floor. But a new generation have picked up the baton long time. And I don't pick up that baton long time. The young generation of Ras Freeman don't pick up the baton long time. Give thanks right here in Anuman like Ras Sila. Pick up the baton long time. Even the esteemed elders still amongst us, Rasta Gaifu. in all humility, I know he have, what should I say? Well, he's still in the race, eh? But as he come to understand, baton must pass on. You check it. It's not who come in, now who win the race with the baton, you know, it's about 4 or 5 man run that race. Man start the race and man done the race. So give thanks again for the esteemed elder. All right. I didn't expect to say all that. That's almost like a, I don't even want to say that. I got a eulogy there. But what I want to touch upon before we take the first intermission, before we get to the subject of the evening, eh? Wow. Yeah. Now, in reality, let me say first, when Haile Selassie I was crowned Negusa Negas, and this is something that we harped upon in the previous coronation season there, the 91st season of the coronation of the King of Kings and the Empress Menen. And it is something that you cannot just step over. You cannot just, you know, oh, well, you know, the King of Kings and the Empress crowned together. Yes, that is true. But, you know, it's much deeper than we really, you know, meditate. You know, Empress Menen is not a simple being amongst us. When we highlighted that Empress Menen was the one that officiated the ceremony to consecrate the monastery. What is this? In Jerusalem. That is something. A monastery, you know, the home for monks, men, Ethiopian monks. As I said before in that video when we did it, these brothers, I mean, not even a female donkey and a female pussycat to catch rats, and so they want amongst them. That's how serious they are in their monk tradition, Ethiopians. Those in Waldeburn and the island of Tigray, and the island in Tigray, I should say, not Tigray, pardon me. What's the name of the lake there? Lake Tana. There's an island in Lake Tana. Sounds like Tigray, Turquoise. I can't remember the name of the island. Where the Ark of the Covenant was. These monks, I mean, not even hens and so can come there, you know. If they eat meat, it's cocks they got to bring for them to show you how serious they are about the feminine, the monks, you know. I'm just showing you what they're into. But I'm just highlighting that to put emphasis on just to comprehend that Empress Menen oversaw, she actually officiated, you know, presided over the whole procession when they were consecrating the monastery in Jerusalem. A woman, the Empress, you understand, presiding over the consecration of the house of monks. That's a serious thing to me. And it really shows the divinity of Empress Menen, you know, in her holiness. And yes, what the Emperor Haile Selassie really did at the coronation, it wasn't just because he was emperor now and he made that decision, you know. A lot of the decisions the emperor made, if not all, had a sort of pushback to them. There was a resistance given in many cases. That was one of them. Because the decision really was that Empress Menen was to be crowned on the same day, at the same time, in the same way, the same ceremony. Ones wasn't too really happy with that, you know. No, that's not how we do it. That's not the old tradition. Let's keep it the way that we used to do it. The emperor get crowned in about 3 days. The empress will get crowned. She'll get crowned in the palace. It'll be a nice little, you know, get together, really, you know. You know, pastries and cakes will be eaten, but we're gonna do it in the old way. And Haile Selassie said, no. Whatever he had to do to make sure he got it his way, you don't know how the king moved. Very shrewd. Don't play with the God. So it was done. And Empress Menen was crowned for the first time known, the same time with Emperor Haile Selassie I. And if Emperor Haile Selassie I is who we testify him to be, we must admit that the fact that Empress Menen was, you know, bestowed with that glory with him must say something about her. You understand? And then again, you know, she being the person that even officiated over the consecration of the monastery in Jerusalem. Not a man, you know, not the Abuna, not the Archbishop, not Pope Cornelius, or whoever it was there, no disrespect, of Coptic Egypt. Empress was zero. Menen. Give thanks. Selassie. Yeah. Rastafari. But what I'm saying now, family, is this. There's this thing about Haile Selassie crowning Empress Menen. I mean, I've been hearing that for a while. I mentioned it before, but I never really highlighted it. You know. Now, from my knowledge, the emperor in his own autobiography explained the coronation. And I'm going to read something here. And specifically, not necessarily from the autobiography, but it's basically exactly what the emperor says. The emperor never made mention of him putting the crown on Empress Menen's head. He blessed the crown. And it is the Abuna that put the crown on her head. Now, an individual may say, well, look, Ras, it's not all of that, you know. We don't have to get it confused. When we say the king crown, huh? I mean, the same thing you say is he blessed the crown. And what I mean is he actually put it on her head, is he blessed the crown. You love argue too much, you know. You just want to cause confusion. Oh my, take it easy. No, take it time. I don't want to cause nothing. I want to straighten it out. Children want the answer to these questions because brethren clearly say, I can roll the tape. Brethren clearly says, Haile Selassie crown Empress Menen, comma, not the Abuna, full stop. So, I mean, come on. So it needs to be clarified. That's all. I ain't trying to dig up nothing. Come on, man. We're big people here. Anyway, let me read this. It's coming, where is it? Oh my, everything is gone. Here, the coronation of Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Menen, and I'm just going to the section here that is saying the coronation of Empress Menen. Okay, it says here, after the ceremony of the emperor, the empress entered with her attendants to take her throne. Perhaps her attendants were her daughters, 17-year-old Tenegewek and 13-year-old Zenebewek. The following reading of the Psalms of David, Psalms 45, verse 9 to 11, was made as a prayer. King's daughters were among the honorable women. Upon thy right hand did stand the queen in gold of Ophir. Hearken, O daughter, and consider, and incline thine ear, forget also thine own people and thy father's house. So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship thou him. The empress was presented with a ring encrusted with diamonds, and then the red and gold coronation robes were placed upon her. The new emperor received the empress's crown from the archbishop and spoke the following words about his empress. As I, with the will of God, have received this crown from his holiness, I request the empress to receive this crown and partake in the honor with me. Therefore, I request your holiness to put the crown on Empress Menen. Abuna Cornelius took the crown from the emperor and placed it on the empress's head as he made a prayer that the crown be one of knowledge and wisdom, sympathy, and goodness. So in accordance with this prayer, Empress Menen used her crown to serve the people and to help the poor. After receiving her crown, the empress went to bow before the emperor and returned to sit on her throne. Okay, so just going through that there, it's really nothing, nothing at all with any, pushback whatsoever. It's just an understanding, just for clarity, because the truth is, because we love the emperor so much, sometimes I always say we tend to kind of spice it up, add a little bit to it. which really, kind of spoil the pot. Let's just keep it exactly how it is, because if you change it, it's going to really change the flavor of what is going on. All right, family, definitely give thanks. Okay, as I said, this is the Tiger's Nest. This is a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at this time. If you are not a subscriber to the Tiger's Nest, you know what to do. Just contact us, email us, how it is, priestisaac27@gmail.com. You are already on the website, priestisaac.com, so you don't know what to do. Just go and find the email, press the button, and inquire, and definitely we'll give you more information if you needs be, and you'll definitely get the Tiger's Nest shipped to you each and every day via the email. You'll find it in your inbox at least by the time you wake up. And I'm just reminding you, remember over the so-called Christmas holiday, oh boy, we're coming down heavy. We have 3 dynamic lectures for sure. We definitely have the 22nd day of December, Fairy Tale Folly Days and Nursery Crimes, the Burial, that's what they name, no, honor, the Firing Squad edition, the Firing Squad edition, Fairy Tale Folly Days and Nursery Crimes, the Firing Squad edition. That's the 22nd of December. This is our online lectures now, family. And then we have the 23rd day of December. We have the Santa Claus Massacre, another installment. This is a totally different one altogether. This is Total Annihilation. And on the 26th, for sure, the Honorable King Franki would definitely love this one here. This will be Haile, Selassie, Rastafari, and Freemasonry. And these 3 lectures, as I said, each of them will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time, Wednesday the 22nd, Thursday the 23rd, and Sunday the 26th day of December. Each of them just $20 online lectures. The first lecture specifically Fairy Tale Folly Days, Nursery Crimes. That will be with myself, the Honorable Prince Alamase, and the Honorable Princess Akisha Menen. Of course, remember, when you attend these lectures, you end up getting a copy of the online lecture within 7 days when it's published. So there's so many things and great prizes and everything that you get just for being a part of it. In fact, if you want to be at the 3 lectures, you get a special price of only $50 for the 3 lectures. So hey, give thanks for the life giver and the keeper of life. And remember what we say we're reasoning about tonight. We are reasoning about the new variant in South Africa. That's what we're really talking about tonight. I know we don't talk about so many things, because that's what the Tiger's Nest is all about. Information and inspiration. And for sure, we definitely will be talking about that now in a moment. All right, as I said, give thanks again for the life of the Honorable King Franki, Franklin Francis, and I'm going to touch down this one here from the Nyabingi elders for the king. Yeah.
When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black, and the green around me. For in the new life I shall rise up with God's grace and blessing to lead the millions of the heights of the triumph that you well know. Look for me in a world when there is storm. Look for me all around you. For in God's grace I shall come back with countless millions of black men and women who have died in America, those who have died in the West Indies, and those who have died in Africa, to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life.
Road we are here in Delstrad. Yes, Rastafari is our life. Jah Rastafari is our life. He is the 225th great grandson of King Solomon. Second 19 verse declare, men and brethren, let me freely speak. Of David, the prophet. God swear unto David, according to the flesh,
Rastafari.